Hello, and thanks for joining us. Today, with an Oscar, a Best Actress prize from the Cannes Film Festival, and a César Award to name but a few, she's one of France's most accoladed actresses, appearing in more than 60 films. From The English Patient with Ralph Fiennes to Chocolat with Johnny Depp, Juliette Binoche has become a household name. She sat down with presenter and journalist Louise Dupont from our sister channel to talk about her latest film, The Taste of Things, which is a love letter to French gastronomy.
Je relève le pari d'émerveiller le prince avec un pot-au-feu de ma composition, avec votre aide.
C'est un peu risqué et audacieux.
Juliette Binoche, hello. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk about The Taste of Things, a film that's set to make viewers salivate in front of the screen. Was it the same experience for you on the set?
Tout à fait, parce que les aliments
Absolutely, because the food was real.
en général fin prêt.
So it usually arrived ready to eat when the technical crew and actors were on set.
Et les acteurs étions prêts aussi, et ça c'était vraiment.
And that was a real challenge for the film's first assistant to coordinate between the kitchen and the set.
Les préparatifs de la cuisine et les préparatifs du cinéma.
Et rassurez-nous, I hope you got to taste the food.
Of course.
Tu connais cette sauce? Tu saurais me dire ce qu'il y a dedans?
De lard fumé, des champignons.
Tu peux avoir la crème fraîche?
Du carré de veau, s'il vous plaît.
Du persil.
Il y a aussi du paprika et on ajoute de la gelée de groseille. C'est très bon ce qu'on a fait. Mais tout ça me donne l'impression d'un brouillon, d'une esquisse.
Vous effectuez, c'est vrai. We see you in the film cooking some fairly technical dishes. Do you yourself cook?
Je cuisine parfois.
Well, I cook sometimes, but I'm not really great at it. I'm a cook who likes to look up recipes in books or on the internet.
Sur les bouquins ou sur Internet, les recettes.
Et puis alors, il y avait le chef et tout. The Michelin star chef, Pierre Gagnère, was a culinary advisor on the film. In fact, we see him in a short scene. Did he give you a few tips? Trucs de chef étoilé?
Pierre Gagnère n'était pas là.
Pierre Gagnère wasn't there because he didn't have the time. He has restaurants all over the world. But there was his colleague Michel Nave, who was there to advise on the shoot and also to prepare things. Because we didn't have time to prepare everything.
Voilà, de tout préparer.
So Eugénie works and cooks with produce from her garden, seasonal produce. It's a period film, but I feel like it resonates with some of today's concerns.
Oui, tout à fait.
Yes, it does. That's one of the reasons I liked making the film, because it starts from the ground and using good ingredients. It's really the root of good cooking.
De la bonne cuisine.
Oui, puis yes, and you are fairly committed when it comes to ecology. Dans ce combat pour l'écologie, perhaps that resonated with you when making this film? Justement, en ce sens-là.
C'est évident pour.
Of course. Firstly, because I was born into it, as my mother was an organic produce enthusiast in the 70s. And today it's inescapable.
C'est incontournable, enfin.
Everyone needs to be able to buy organic food.
Tout le monde puisse.
But there needs to be state aid so that these farmers can have a business that survives, because it's not always easy to find more labor, which means paying more employees, and there isn't always the necessary aid from the government.
Et là, il n'y a pas toujours les aides nécessaires du gouvernement.
Le Napoléon de la gastronomie, le prince, le roi.
Il faut de la culture, de la mémoire pour que le goût se forme.
Why did you choose Juliette Binoche and Benoit Magimel to play this on-screen couple?
Alors Juliette, c'était depuis le début.
Well, Juliette was there from the start, because we've known each other for a while, and we'd always promised to make a film together. And it just so happened that this film was perfect for her, and Benoit came along later. I was a bit worried because Benoit and Juliette were together 20 years ago, and when they split up, they never worked together again. So that scared me a little. Obviously, by the time we shot the film, the chemistry that developed between them was truly magnificent.
Est-ce que cette complicité peut-être did this complicity help you on the set in any way? Sur le tournage d'une quelconque façon.
Alors à aider, ça dépend ce qu'on a.
Well, it depends. But in any case, I think there's something going on between us that gives the film its depth and its sense of deliciousness.
Son délice aussi, je pense.
Nous sommes à l'automne de notre vie.
Parlez pour vous, je me sens en plein été.
Je vous le demande encore, Eugénie, marions-nous.
Nous passons plus de temps ensemble que bien des époux, à étudier des recettes, à les faire. Ne sommes-nous pas bien ainsi?
C'est mieux de travailler.
It's better to work with seasoned actors because you're carried along, because it's easier, it's simpler.
Des gens qu'on connaît bien.
Working with people you know well is even better because you know how each other is going to work. So with Juliette, it was just that. We didn't really talk much. It was straightforward.
C'était évident.
It's not your first film revolving around taste buds. I'm talking, of course, about Chocolat.
Hello.
Hi.
I just made a fresh batch of Mondial. Anybody interested?
You star alongside Johnny Depp. It was the early 2000s, and at the time, I think you said you accepted the film because you love chocolate?
Yeah, that's right.
What made you decide to take on this film? Was it too tasty to turn down, so to speak?
Non, Chocolat.
No, for Chocolat, I read the script very quickly because it was called Chocolat. And I'm a big fan of chocolate, a bit too much, in fact. For this film, there was a food aspect, but also the wit that attracted me. And then there's the love story that I don't really see in other films I've starred in. I'm used to playing parts with a lot of conflict, sex scenes with a lot of passion, but a passion that's not long-lasting. That's more about confrontation rather than gentleness. And it was good for me to work on a film like that, a film that gives a viewer a taste other than that of dejection and conflict.
D'autres saveurs que celui des cris et des conflits.
Le bonheur, c'est de continuer à désirer ce que l'on a déjà. Mais vous ne vous êtes jamais eu.
So if you like movies and cooking, you're in for a treat with Juliette Binoche's new film. The Taste of Things has been picked by France to represent the country at the Oscars. The judges will announce if it's made the shortlist in January. The culinary romance has already won the Best Director prize at Cannes. It's an ode to French gastronomy that has inspired a group of cooking students in Lyon, southeastern France, as Aurore Dupuis reports.
Tu connais cette sauce? Tu saurais me dire ce qu'il y a dedans?
A mouth-watering movie. But be warned, don't watch it on an empty stomach. Based on a book, The Taste of Things takes us on a culinary journey with Dodin Bouffant, a French chef who falls in love with his personal cook. Dishes simmer and sizzle throughout the movie, an ode to French gastronomy and an inspiration for students at this prestigious cooking school near Lyon, eastern France.
It's an excellent movie with great recipes in it. If you're a foodie, it's a wonderful sight.
That day, the school was as busy as in a restaurant. The apprentices are taking part in a competition to make some of Dodin Bouffant's dishes. They're guided by Pierre Gagnère, a Michelin star chef who appeared in the film and advised the movie makers.
There's a connection with this film. It's such a tribute to our profession. I really wanted something great to occur.
Gagnère gave his students 2 hours to cook 2 recipes from the movie.
For our first competition, it's a challenge. We're really interested in the movie and its values.
On the menu, a vol au vent, a puff pastry filled with meat and vegetables. For the students, it's an opportunity to be creative and to stand out. It doesn't look the same as in the film.
No, we've put a twist on it.
It's time for the jury to decide on the best dish. Visually, at least, they look just as scrumptious as in The Taste of Things.
The duo, Johan and Joachim, has won.
The French chef gave one final piece of advice.
It doesn't mean you'll win for the rest of your lives, okay?
In other words, don't rest on your laurels.
And a reminder, The Taste of Things is out in France now. So from France's entry to the Oscars to Italy's, a moving migration drama from Gomorrah director Mathieu Garroni. My Captain stars newcomer Seydou Sarr as a Senegalese teenager who leaves home on a quest to reach Europe. It premiered at the Venice Film Festival in September and is showing this week at Los Angeles' AFI Festival. Let's take a look.
ñoo bëgg a dem tukki Europe. li tax ma bëgg a dem. li tax ma xaalis matugul jarul compter. sunu gaay yi mbëkkoon daaw. tiitumaas nga nekk stade bu mag tubaab bu xonk cur bu xonkul doo ko signal bu xonk cur ngay signal autographe. yaay tey dama bëggoon ñu waxtaan. gis nga fii ma nekk fi laa bëgg nga nekk fi ñu bokk li ñu nooyi maa
We are used to see image always from our point of view, Occidental point of view, boats that arrive with migrants. So the idea is to make a reverse shot, put the camera in Africa from the point of view of them.
So for us, it was important to produce and to give good information through this film and make people to understand what we face before we arrive in Europe.
My Captain is Italy's entry to the Oscars. Well, let's wrap up then with the film Japan is putting forward for the Oscars, a beautiful portrait of a noble toilet cleaner set in Tokyo from German director Wim Wenders. Perfect Days got rave reviews when it premiered at the Cannes Film Festival in May this year. We'll leave you with that. Thanks for watching. See you next time.
Lisa, 久しぶり。
あいつをよろしくお願いします。
おじさん、ありがとう。